Who's the rapping lesbian in a headband? I'll never forget the comment. It got like hundreds of thumbs up. It pretty much made me want to not be on YouTube anymore. People are going to say horrible to you online. This is unavoidable. We are in a very strange time. There has never been a time in history before where the people who consume what we give them have the anonymous ability to say the meanest, most poisonous and they are able to hide. They can hide behind a phone, a computer now. You used to have to do it to someone's face. It was not always like this. If you started a restaurant in like 1998, the people who didn't enjoy the food would likely just leave. They probably wouldn't say like, this is the worst food I've ever had in my life, right? Like if you're not mean to them, they'll probably just leave. What's the alternative? They would have to say that to your face. They're not going to do that. But now it's not to our face. It's like behind a computer. So all of the people who back then would have done this, now those people can do this. So if you post anything online and it starts doing well at all, you are going to be on the receiving end of some vitriolic, horrible shit. To make it worse, people can comment on the mean thing somebody else said. I've had horrible comments that like hurt me get like 7,000 thumbs up. That's f***ed. Since I was 16, I've been on YouTube in some capacity, on and off. In 2006, I had a channel with my brother. It was called Lizard in My Toes. It got to like 1,000 subscribers. In 2009, I had another channel with a sketch comedy group I had in college. It was called Dead Panda. It got to like 5,000 subscribers. Started getting a little bit more experience with the like hateful comments. 2011, I had a channel that got to 70,000 subscribers called The Pilot Kids. It was a band I was in. There, I started really seeing it. And then in 2016, 17, I had a channel get to 800,000 subscribers, like 100 million views on the channel. And that's pretty much the meat of where I got the information I'm about to give to you. I don't say any of this to like flex. I say it to like qualify myself. I know when I'm watching YouTube videos, I don't necessarily like trust them. Maybe that's f***ed up, but it's just the truth. I don't really know. Like there's no qualification for them. So I just want to like qualify that so that you are able to trust me as I go through what I'm about to go through. I've come up with something that I call the feedback horizon. Okay, it exists in 5 phases, and you are in one of these phases. Please be honest with yourself as you watch this and think about what phase you might be in, because the more honest you are with yourself, the more value you're going to be able to get out of this video. So, phase 1, mean comments deeply hurt me. This is an unavoidable first stage. Negative comments will deeply affect you. Now, depending upon the type of person you are, how confident you already are, maybe you've been on stage before, this can last for a week, it can last for 5 years. I mean, you're gonna feel embarrassed, exposed, less than. You're probably not gonna wanna continue making stuff anymore. If you are able to make stuff, you're probably gonna wait a little while, or you might start changing who you are. How you would know if you're in this phase is this. When you get a really mean comment, or if you were to get a really mean comment, and especially a mean comment that is about something you're already self-conscious about. Like for me, I'm short. So for me, it would be like, who's the midget on the left? Something like that. Think about something you're self-conscious about. If somebody were to say something about that on the video and it got like a bunch of thumbs up or something, if that would make you feel like being in 2nd or 3rd grade and like a popular kid says something really mean in front of the whole class to you and you just want to like disappear, that is pretty indicative that you're like in phase 1 of 5. If the comments get thumbs up from other people, it feels really bad. Because imagine, I mean, it's like in that example I just gave, imagine if the rest of the class all agreed and said, yes, I think the same horrible thing that he just said, I think that about you too. A nightmare scenario. That's the equivalent of thumbs up on like a terrible comment. It's the same thing. Living in this phase, guys, is going to be really stressful and it's going to be emotionally difficult. But the good news is that stress and difficulty is literally what's going to propel you into phase 2 because you can't keep living with that anymore. So either you're going to quit making content or you're going to be pushed into phase 2. Phase 2 is it doesn't really affect me anymore. This phase is where you start developing thicker skin. You've been posting for a while, you've gotten some mean comments. Enough mean comments have happened that you're used to it. If a friend were to ask you how the mean comments make you feel, you'd probably say, I'm not affected by it anymore. but you are definitely still affected by it in this stage. You are now used to it and able to ignore it a little better. You're telling yourself you don't care, but like if you were to take a polygraph test about that, like a lie detector test, you would definitely fail. You know what I mean? It's wishful thinking, you saying you don't care. You do care. Toward the end of this stage, you're going to be presented with a comment or a series of mean comments, and it's going to remind you that you do actually care still. That reminder is going to send you into phase 3. What's great about these fucking phases is they transition into each other. Like, you don't really have to do much. There might be one or two on the list that you do have to do some shit for. But generally, you don't really have to do anything to get from each phase to the next one. Now you're going to get pushed into phase 3. This is not my favorite phase, and it's to be noted, you can skip phase 3 and go directly to phase 4. I think most people just go right to this one, though. So phase 3 is, these people commenting are losers anyway. What a fucking loser commenting on my fucking shit. So now you are basically giving them what they give you. It's hateful. It's a defense mechanism. It's no different than like a verbal argument breaking out in a bar. Some lady's like, fucking ugly bitch. Some other lady's like,
oh yeah, like I care what like a 400-pound whale has to say about me.
It's like, it's not right. But you're figuring out how to not be like really hurt by it. But like it's through the same thing they're giving you. It's negative. You're doing what they do. That's how you're not caring. All energy, good stuff and bad stuff and up and down, it needs to be met in order to stabilize itself. So you're making it stabilize itself by giving them what they gave you. So it cancels it out. You're like, yeah, well, fuck them. You found a way to protect yourself, which is good. But like, if this sounds anything like where your mind goes, you're not there yet. It probably feels like you made it to a good place. I admit, it's a better place than the first one, which is mean comments deeply hurt me, right? Like you've graduated from phase 1 to phase 3. However, you are still going to grow. So let's take it out of the ladies fighting in a bar example. Let's bring it to content creation. It's likely going to be something like this. So be honest with yourself. See if you resonate with this. Somebody says, this trash you post is literally what's wrong with America. You think to yourself, you're sitting in your mom's basement commenting on my video and I'm doing cool shit and you're not doing the stuff that you enjoy. So fuck you. Honestly, suck a dick. I remember thinking that a lot. It's not optimal to react this way. The inner negativity you're going to experience in reaction to the negative comments you receive is likely going to become exhausting after a while. That is going to lead you into phase 4. So phase 4 is, I don't even read the comments anymore. Fuck this. I'm not going to sit around reading this shit. I have better things to do, like make more content or like do real life things. I'm not going to entertain this. It's not a bad stage to make it to, honestly. And I think a lot of people stay in this one. The issue with this stage, though, is like, you should care. If you were a business, you would want to know if people are fucking with your product, period, right? Like you wouldn't, I don't look at that. No, you would want to find out. Any business should be finding out what people make of it. You should care enough about your viewers to pay attention to them, to read what they have to say. These are the people who watch your shit. This is what you've always wanted. You should care. Your brand, guys, your brand is not like what you think it is. Your brand is what other people think it is. Your brand is not your idea of yourself. Your brand is their idea of you. You need to stay on top of what your brand is. And how do you do that? Well, one of the best free ways is to read the comments. Not reading comments is like performing a live concert and not making any eye contact. It's kind of gross. It's kind of yucky. I don't know. You should fucking care what these people think. They're your people. Honestly, all that's going on in this stage is you're like a wounded lover who's been hurt so many times that they just like gave up on relationships. It's just like the ultimate defense mechanism. Is it going to save you heartbreak and stress? Yes. Is it going to also close you off to the very people you need feedback from? Yes. You've now arrived at the feedback horizon. I believe that most people exist forever in phase 3 or phase 4. Very few people get to phase 5. Many people will never cross this horizon. Most people, even like big influencers, are never going to reach this phase. If you do, I believe you will not only be a better creator, you will literally be a better person. Why? Because it requires like personal growth. Phase 5 is, I feel bad for the person commenting. Think about that for a minute. It's easy to think it's like some updated version of phase 3. These people commenting are losers anyway. You're sitting in your mom's basement commenting on my video and I'm doing cool shit. No, it's different. I mean really, guys. I mean really though. Like, you know you've made it to phase 5 when your gut reaction is feeling bad for them. For real, for real. I want to be very clear here. It's your gut reaction. You are reacting with the same instinctive, like, immediacy that would come from seeing a very sweet person who got, like, all dressed up for, like, a date. Somebody hasn't been on a date in a while. They're, like, waiting for, like, a cab, like, in a movie, and, like, a car comes by, zooms by, and, like, splashes a puddle in them, and they're all fucked. Dude, it was, like, so hard for them to even go on this date in the first place. They haven't gone on a date in 5 years, and now they're just fucking covered in water after, like, putting on, like, the best thing they had in their closet, which is not even that nice of a thing. That feeling, like, where it's like, oh, God, it hurts you in that place in your heart. That's the feeling that I'm talking about, that you'll know you're in phase 5 when you get that from somebody saying something really mean. You've arrived at a truth. Somebody writing poisonous shit on somebody else's video is not very happy. You exist in one of two categories. One, you have written really mean, poisonous shit on other people's videos in the past, or you have not. For those of you who have, fuck you, I'm just kidding. For those of you who have, were you happy, like, at the time that you did that? The answer has to be no. There's no other reason you would ever tear somebody down. You have so much negative energy in you that you need to get it out. You have to get it out. It's in you. That's what's going on, right? I'm only reiterating all this because I want you guys to understand that it really is only one option when it comes to, like, why somebody would do this. It's because they're unhappy. Guys, being unhappy sucks. Have you, like, been unhappy before? It's horrible. I fucked up on all of that, so woo. Take 5. What this means is that you have graduated. You no longer take hateful stuff personally. You recognize that it doesn't have anything to do with you. It has to do with this other person. Side note, another way you'll realize that you're in this phase would be if somebody says something cleverly funny about you, you think it's just fucking hilarious. Not like, that was actually pretty funny. Yeah, you fucking got me. I'm talking about, like, you legitimately find it funny. Like, this dude said some shit to me. I don't even know if it was a dude. I'm just imagining that it was a guy. But somebody said something to me on a comment one time that was like, homie looks like if Bob the Builder stopped showering. Which is fucking hilarious. So I wrote back, dude, yes. It was not until after I responded to the comment that I realized, oh, that's about me. I didn't write it back because I thought it was about someone else. I knew it was about me. It's just I didn't, like, connect with it. What I'm saying is this is a microcosm of being removed from the comments. Comments that shouldn't affect you don't anymore because you're removed. So that's why I say this is another way that you could tell that you're probably in phase 5. I'm reading on a computer. I apologize, guys. I'll get better at this. Some closing thoughts here. I believe it is our duty to care, but it is also our duty to not allow it to affect us. It's the difference between caring about and being affected by. Caring about is something I believe we should always do. It's having the respect to read the comments. Being affected by is something I believe we should very rarely do. It is being emotionally impacted by comments, bad or good. How are we going to separate caring about from being affected by? I think this is why a lot of people never make it to phase 5. It's difficult to be able to read the comments, yet bulletproof from being hurt or given a ton of confidence. Living in that duality of vulnerability and confidence is why I believe you end up being a better person if you make it to this stage. After literally hundreds of thousands of comments on my channels, here's my take on when it makes sense to be affected, both negatively or positively. So when somebody intelligently criticizes you and what they're saying is fucking true. Like, I've been following your channel for a while and I love it, but I feel that you were a bit insensitive to people who are genetically heavy when you said that the only reason people can't lose weight is because they're lazy. You're fucking right, dog. You're right. We need to have the space to be able to see that, right? That's not vitriolic, hateful poison. That's fucking constructive criticism. And now on the positive end, when somebody specifically compliments you on something you've worked very hard to be good at, right? Like, You've come such a long way with your focused, concise delivery. You're allowed to feel good from that, right? Like that's something you worked on. So in both of these situations, you agree with what they're saying. And that's why you can be emotionally affected by it, because you agree. You're not just taking what they say and that's it. Here's when it's not okay. Somebody criticizes you with meanness, straight up. Guess white people think they can just do whatever the fuck they want these days. Or, this is actual garbage. 3 minutes and 47 seconds of my life I'll never get back. Some bullshit, right? It's all good. Okay, and on the positive end, this is a weird one. Not feeling good from certain positives, but here's what it is. It's when someone compliments you without being specific, or when they compliment you on something you don't control. This is awesome. Not specific, okay? Or something you don't control. You're hot. Don't let that go to your head, you fucking prick. Just let it roll off you. You care enough to read it. You're not affected by it. I watched a really good Gary Vee video where he essentially said, like, getting a confidence boost from comments leaves you open to getting torn down by negative ones. Something like that. Fuck, yes, exactly. I'm just adding a little something, and I'm saying that if you really want to get to a mastery level of this whole thing, there are times where you can allow yourself to be affected. Like I said, though, those times end up where you are letting it filter through you and you find that you agree. I very much believe that you are capable of making it past the feedback horizon. Keep posting, keep creating, be consistent, do what you love. You are already yourself. You're already you. You don't have to be it. You are already you. I'm going to do another video on that shit. And guys, this is a good problem to have when you get to this point, right? It means you're getting a lot of comments. So I promise you will get to that point. You just got to keep being consistent and you'll have this problem to solve. For those of you who are already going through this, just use self-awareness, use honesty, and decide what phase you're at. Just recognize, all right, I'm in phase 3. That's all good. I didn't realize there were more phases to get to, right? That's it. That's all I'm trying to do here. All right, guys. That's all I'm trying to do here.